Give it a few seconds here to let people chime in, and then we'll get started. Okay. Thank you for joining us for the American Indian Alaska Native Tourism Association's webinar series. Today's educational webinar is Exploring AIANTA's Visitor Outreach Program. Goati kaitawahaupa, dutiash shinome kututuwitsa, eshte koheohanu eshwashkawashti, shtaza. My name is Bianca Mitchell. I am from the Pueblo of Acoma, and I am AIANTA's Education Manager. For those of you who are not familiar with AIANTA, for nearly 2 decades, AIANTA has served as a national voice for American Indian nations engaged in cultural tourism. In addition to serving as the voice for Indian country tourism, AIANTA provides technical assistance and training to tribal nations and Native-owned enterprises engaged in tourism, hospitality, and recreation. AIANTA's mission is to define, introduce, grow, and sustain American Indian, Alaska Native, and Native Hawaiian tourism that honors traditions and values. AIANTA's educational offerings include this year's American Indian Tourism Conference, which will take place in person at the Wekopa Casino Resort on the Fort McDowell Yavapai Nation in Scottsdale, Arizona, from October 25th through the 28th. Reimagine, reemerge, reunite, Stronger Together in Indian Country is the theme of this year's conference, now celebrating its 23rd anniversary. In addition to our conference, AIANTA has teamed up with industry and federal partners to provide a series of webinars on resource development opportunities and other tourism-related topics. Most webinars are designed to equip organizations with information needed to find and apply for funding opportunities that support cultural heritage tourism development. Others provide needed information on challenges and obstacles facing the tourism industry. AIANTA has rolled out an interactive new town hall series hosted by our AIANTA board president, Mr. Emerson Bio, and our AIANTA CEO, Sherry L. Rupert. They have begun to unveil our major initiatives for the upcoming year, and we would like to hear from you. So please join us for our next town hall meeting, Tourism Marketing Initiatives for 2022 and beyond, on September 29th at 1 p.m. Mountain Time. This third session, as AIANTA enters its new fiscal year, the association is rolling out an exciting series of new partner opportunities. Join AIANTA's already established partnerships with the Juan Bautista de Anza Trail, the Lewis and Clark National Trail, and the Native American Agricultural Fund. We will also be celebrating 250 and more years of Native American history in conjunction with America 250 Partnership. Additionally, we're rolling out a new collaboration with Leave No Trace, an organization that strives to minimize travelers' impact on the destinations they visit. AIANTA encourages everyone to join this interactive discussion of our partnership programs and how they can lead to greater prosperity for tribal communities. Visit our website at aianta.org to learn more about our educational program offerings, and aianta.org/AITC for additional information and registration for this year's 23rd Annual American Indian Tourism Conference. Again, thank you for joining us for today's webinar, Exploring AIANTA's Visitor Outreach Program. I am pleased to introduce you to AIANTA's very own, your speaker for today, Maureen Chavez, who is our Visitor Outreach Manager. Maureen is a member of the Acoma Pueblo. She has spent most of her 10+ year career in tourism and hospitality and destination sales. Maureen has worked with group tours and meeting planners, both national and international, and as a representative for the city and partners of Visit Albuquerque. During her tenure, she worked to assist small groups in locating properties around the city of Albuquerque to host meetings and participated in familiarization tours and site visits. She worked with group tours to assist with the creation of itineraries, locating accommodations, and ensuring all groups were prepared for their visit to the area. And at this time, I'd like to introduce you to our Visitor Outreach Program. And before I introduce you to Maureen, I am going to bring up a poll question. So the first poll question is, what is your top international market? This is a single choice answer. Please give it a few or I'll give you a few seconds to enter your answers. Again, thank you all for participating in today's webinar series. We greatly appreciate your time. And your choices are Canada, Mexico, Germany, the UK, Italy, or other. I'll give it a few seconds here before I end the poll. Okay. Thank you for answering. And it looks like 31% is Canada, followed by 23% tied with Germany and the UK. Thank you for that. Now I will turn it over to Miss Maureen Chavez.
Thank you, Bianca. Watsi hapa kaitawa waikai yuze. Shinomets aiti maitata este ushakshanostata akumestata. Good morning. My name is Maureen, and I am the Visitor Outreach Manager for AIANTA. I am from the Pueblo of Acoma. I am from the Big Sun clan, and my father is a little lizard, so I'm a little lizard clan. I'm happy to be here working with AIANTA. It is a new program, Visitor Outreach Program, and I want to share just a little bit about my program to let you all know what I do and how I can help you. And so if we could move to the next slide, please. We're going to start off with just a little bit of AIANTA outreach history. So AIANTA began their international program around 2007, and it has since made its way all up there into 2019. And the top international markets to the Indian country in 2019 were France and the UK. And so, you know, that's just a little bit of history, a little bit of outreach from that AIANTA has provided to you all and for your destinations. Next slide, please. So I want to give you a little bit of an overview to the travel trade industry. Working with travel trade is an effective way of reaching larger numbers of potential travelers and growing your outreach. But it's not easy to do, and it's not easy to do alone. And you'll see why in the next slide, please. So originally, this distribution channel used to be a lot smaller. There were suppliers who offered to ITOs, who then offered to wholesalers, who then offered to retail, and then to customers. Now, as you can see, there's a larger web, and it can go through so many channels and so many hands before it ever reaches the customer. And sometimes our partners, sometimes, you know, people can get lost in this web. And so this is where AIANTA can help you. Next slide, please. So what AIANTA's Visitor Outreach Program does is we provide technical assistance and training. We provide technical assistance and training to trade shows, through webinars, at our Go International and American Indian Tourism Conference, through media outreach, and of course through our Native America.travel website. Next slide. So with trade shows, we assist with positive and productive trade show experiences, pre and post show training, on-site training and materials, make the requests for appointments, and work with all of the booth logistics. And this is important because as I started off in tourism, I started off with the Acoma Sky City Cultural Center and Hoggle Museum. And I was sent to represent the destination at NTA. And I had no idea what to expect. And no one took me by the hand. No one offered me any type of assistance in how to get around the trade show. So I was a little bit scared. And I understand that these larger trade shows can be a little intimidating. And so, you know, I assist in making sure that you're comfortable providing your sales pitches while you're at appointments, and making sure that you have the right information while you are attending and making these appointments, that you're not showing up or that your appointment is showing up and you're not prepared for them. I want to ensure that, you know, you are prepared and that you have the right materials to talk with them, to discuss your destination. You are the expert on your program and experience, and I just want to assist you in elevating you to that next level, to that next comfort level. Next slide, please. So I also work with the education department to provide webinar training for our partners, for you, our partners, who are interested in learning more about travel trade. I'm looking to seek out speakers within the travel industry who can provide you with a little more information on trends, on data, you know, itinerary building, what industry leaders are looking for when you are making your appointments, when you are talking to these tour operators and media. And I want you to hear from each other, to hear from partners who have attended past trade shows with AIANTA. What was their experience? What have they learned from this experience? What could we do you know, better? What can we improve upon? And I want to hear from you. I want to hear feedback from you. Next slide, please. I work with the education department as well as the marketing program on the Go International and the American Indian Tourism Conference. So I help to determine travel trade education for AIANTA partners for these programs. I work with the travel industry partners to speak about trends, data, and how to work with them. And I try to incorporate those into sessions at Go International and the American Indian Tourism Conference. We also work with the media outreach. AIANTA works with domestic and international media to facilitate stories. We also connect partners directly with media in response to requests. So sometimes we'll get media responses or media requests to connect with some of you all, and we try to make those connections happen so that you can tell your story about your destination. I work in tandem with Monica Poling in our marketing department, and she has been wonderful in this particular realm. Next slide, please. I also work with Native America.travel, and Native America.travel is a very helpful tool because it connects travelers to Indigenous destinations, to your experiences throughout Indian country, throughout the country. It provides an idea of Indian heritage and culture, history, and agritourism experiences. And you can also share your story on nativeamerica.travel. It's as easy as creating a listing. And, please visit the website. We have itineraries on there from some of the destinations that we have experienced. And we would like to add more information from your destinations. If you are not listed, please contact us right away so you can become a part of nativeamerica.travel. Next slide, please. So we are actually going to do another poll question. You could bring that up, please. And this is exploring AIANTA's Visitor Outreach Program. How many tourism trade shows do you attend every year? Your choices are 0, 1 to 2, 3 to 5, or more than 5. And I'll give you a few seconds to plug in your answers. Give you a few more seconds. And we can go ahead and stop the poll and share the results. So it looks like not many have attended trade shows every year. We have 1 to 2 at 27%. We have 3 to 5 at 7%. Thank you. All right, so let's go ahead and discuss domestic and international trade shows. So some of the top international travel trade shows do happen overseas, but some of them occur right here in our own backyard. IPW, ITB Berlin, National Tour Association, they have their travel exchange every year. And Go West Summit are just a few of the travel trade shows that happen in our own backyard. In the past, AIANTA has attended IPW and they have attended ITB Berlin. IPW's inaugural year was 2019, hosting Tribal Row at the show. And we hope to grow our participation. We hope to include more of you in our booth and in and around Tribal Row. We would love to grow Tribal Row. And we do take on partners. They do have the opportunity to have appointments and to experience, this international trade show. We are considering both international and domestic trade shows once travel reopens. Next slide, please. So why attend? Why attend trade shows? You can present your experience, your product to a larger audience while you're there. You can gain buyer leads, and by buyers, I mean tour operators. I also mean media travel writers or journalists. So you can make those connections and then either have them follow up with you about your product, your experience, or you follow up with them on their, interest in your product or experience. You can meet with numerous potential buyers or partners and make those partnerships a lot stronger. And once again, buyers pertains to tour operators, media, partners could be your own state tourism department. So like I said, you could not know what is happening down the street if you're close to Palm Springs, but you have this experience that you think would really work well with one of their experiences. You can also see what other destinations are offering. So a lot of our partners within Indian country and Alaska Natives and Native Hawaiians. We all have exciting experiences or products and services to offer. And it's wonderful to see what one person is doing in one part of the nation, and possibly making that connection to work together, or making connections with your states and local agencies. Build partnerships with your state governments to gain support of your programs. Your state governments, Brand USA, NTA, AIANTA, we want you to build those partnerships with us. And we want to, help you with your programs and help you be comfortable when you're presenting your programs. Next slide, please. So at these trade shows, you will meet with key buyers. You will attend workshops or presentations. There's opportunities to interact with media, and there's, of course, evening networking events. And these are all important. The meeting with key buyers, you will connect with potential new customers. You'll reinforce relationships if you already have some. You can network with influencers and media at these, in this portion of the show. With the workshops and presentations, you will be provided with updates on travel trends. You will be provided with how-tos, how to make the most of your appointments, how to get people interested in your destination. And then industry data and updates. It's always important to keep up on your data and see what types of trends are happening throughout the nation, throughout Indian country. You can change, you can adapt to it, or you can just gain insight. The opportunity to interact with media. You are able to have a discussion with a journalist or a travel writer, whether it's in the booth, whether it is at one of the luncheons. There's an opportunity to talk and continue those relationships even off of the trade show floor, which brings me to evening network events. And these are important because it allows you the opportunity to relax and get to know tour operators and media in a relaxed setting. Maybe there's a concert that the trade show hosts, or an amusement park that you all are set to attend. It's important to go to these evening networking events because you build up these relationships with the people that you are meeting with or have met with throughout the day. Next slide, please. So why attend with AIANTA? Preparation. AIANTA, I in particular, take care of the booth logistics. I take care of appointments. I try to make the best appointments possible for you and your destination. And I assist you with materials. It may be the first time that you are attending an event, a trade show, and I try to make it an easy experience for you. I do all the stressing, and I try to do the best to make sure that you are comfortable once you arrive, that you are ready for those appointments, and that you are enjoying the atmosphere that you are in when it comes to our booth. Most importantly, I provide education. I provide pre and post-show education and on-site training. So as I mentioned before earlier, I was sent off to NTA. I wish I had someone to take me by the hand and show me, this is what you do prior to attending the show. This is what you do while you're at the show. and let me sit with you. Let me show you how until you are comfortable to do it on your own. And then let me show you what to do after the show, because there's still a lot that happens after the show. You have to follow up with partners, new partners. You have to follow up with, your buyers, your people that you have spoken to, your media. So there's a lot that happens while you are doing both pre, post, and on-site. Next slide, please. All right, I think we have our last poll question. And the question is, what is your tourism outlook for 2022? Increase significantly, increase somewhat, stay the same, decrease somewhat, decrease significantly. I'll give you a few seconds to plug in your answers, and then we'll see what I've answered. I'll give you a few more seconds. And we'll go ahead and stop the poll and share the results. So it looks like it has, for most people, it has increased somewhat. 67% said increased somewhat. 25% has said that it has stayed the same, and 8% say that it has increased significantly. Okay, great. All right, so let's go ahead and discuss some trends. Next slide, please. For domestic travelers, we are getting a lot more domestic travelers. People want to explore their own backyard these days. People are renting more cars, they're renting more RVs, they are traveling with family. There has been an increase on the road, and I can tell every day. I commute, and so I do see an increase of people traveling on the road and people traveling with families, and looking for a new experience within their own backyard. Many places are still closed. Some have restrictions, but for the most part, people are still traveling. Next slide, please. When it comes to international travelers, the outlook is still, it remains fluid. Many of the borders right now remain closed, but the U.S. promises to be a popular destination for our international travelers. And when those borders open up, all of our destinations are going to be competing for those smaller pools of travelers. What can we do to interest those smaller pools of travelers that are coming through, that are beginning to come from the United Kingdom or Italy or France? What can we do to interest them? What can we do to provide a good experience for them? And it's good to connect with travel outreach programs like AIANTA's, so that we can assist you with your plans and how to attract more people to your area. Next slide. We do see that all travelers are looking at outdoor travel and recreation and national parks, and it's going to continue to be in high demand because of some of the restraints, the restrictions. due to COVID. And we're noticing that people are traveling in smaller groups. People want to travel with family. People want to travel with friends only. And so they are, visiting with family and friends, and it'll be possibly groups of 5, 6 people, depending on how big the family is. People remain concerned about safety. So, make sure to have your own safety protocols in place when people start visiting you, when travelers start visiting you, when you see guests. Make sure that your staff are safe, as well as your guests. Next slide. So we're going to move into questions. Before we do, one more slide. I am excited to work with you. I am really thrilled to be a part of AIANTA in this role as a visitor outreach manager. I come from a background of destination sales, and I also come from a background where I too have sold my destination, or talked about my experience to others, why it's important to come and visit Acoma. And so I understand how our partners may need some assistance when you're trying to move ahead, when you're trying to get more people into your destinations. So if you're interested in attending a trade show that you've never participated in before and you want the experience, please contact me. And if you have an interesting topic on travel trade that you would like to hear about in a webinar, or Go International, or a session at the American Indian Tourism Conference, please let me know, and I will work to try to help our partners understand the travel trade industry. And that is from me. Go back to questions. I'll be happy to take some.
Thank you, Maureen. So we do have one question for you. Do you have many Alaska Native peoples or organizations participating in your trade shows?
We work with the Sitka tribe. We have Miss Camille Ferguson that we work along with, and she has been wonderful and has provided a lot of information to she has provided a lot of information at appointments at IPW and ITB Berlin, and we would love to have more. If you're interested, please contact me to learn more about the program. I would love to represent everyone.
So we have another question. How many trade shows should we attend a year?
It really depends on the size of the trade show. We have attended IPW and ITB Berlin in the past. And so if you are interested in the international market, and you have if you are interested in the international market and want more international guests visiting you, it's always good to try to attend IPW, which is a show that takes place within the United States, and you'll be able to reach out to those international travelers, those international tour operators, and international media, so that you can begin building. If you're interested in smaller trade shows, NTA and Go West Summit, those two events are really wonderful events to attend. They're a little bit on the smaller scale, but they still provide international tour operators and media. I would probably say not to overdo the trade shows, because it tends to be a lot of work that you end up having to follow up on, because you still have to do the follow-up. You still have to maintain partnerships. And if you're constantly going to trade shows, then it kind of defeats the purpose of your trips. So probably about 1 to 3 if you could handle.
Okay, so we have another question in the Q&A, and excuse me for the mispronunciation. I am Sekwebek from BC, Canada. The J Treaty recognizes that the border did not exist pre-contact. Having said that, would I be able to participate in trade show training? I am an elected leader working with 3 other Sekwebek communities on a regional tourism strategy.
Thank you very much for that question. I believe this is from Shelly. Please go ahead and contact me. I will provide my information to you. We can discuss, your ideas and see what we can do to work with you.
Thank you, Shelley, for that question. And we have another question. What does IPW stand for and ITV Berlin?
So IPW is International Powwow. And I believe that the reason that they changed it to IPW is, first of all, it's shorter, and I think that possibly there was a little bit of feedback for using the word powwow, but it is IPW, International Powwow. ITV Berlin, I know that it's the international. I will have to look that one up for you. I'm sorry, I cannot remember off the top of my head what ITV Berlin is, but ITV Berlin is actually an international show that takes place in Berlin, Germany, and it offers you the ability to meet with international tourism organizations in Berlin, and provides you with the opportunity to partner with us in a trade show booth and gain some insight, international travel.
Okay, and we have another question. A tour operator asked me for a 30% discount. Is that right?
Working with some tour operators, they will discuss discounts with you, on your packages. If you are uncomfortable with the amount that they are requesting, then you might want to do a little bit of negotiating. You might want to reach out to us and get a little bit of insight. You're more than welcome to contact me to ask me more questions about that particular situation.
Okay, we don't have any more questions, but we do have some comments in the chat. And from Roland, this has been an informative session. Thank you. And also from Melvin Monico, thank you, Maureen, for your excellent and informative information. Very well done. And I believe Maureen used to work with Melvin at Acoma with the Sky City Cultural Center. Okay, let's see. There is one more question. Being that some of us may not be able to attend IPW 2021, can AIANTA provide contact information on tour operators, travel writers, journalists, and others that are attending to connect with us for 2022?
That's a good question. So actually, AIANTA is not able to attend this year as well. But we do have information on past events, and you know, if you have attended with us in the past, I would suggest that you know, you follow up with the connections that you have made at IPW and just maintain those relationships as much as possible. We will be attending, we are hoping to attend IPW in 2022 in Orlando. We would love to have participants throughout the nation to come and represent within our booth. So please contact me if you are interested in being a representative within our booth. But I hope that answers the question.
And let's see, we have another comment here from Elizabeth. Maureen, your information was very compelling, and I hope everyone takes advantage of all that you and AIANTA offer. And as well as
it looks like we know the definition of ITB for ITB Berlin, and it's International Tourismus Bourse. So that is ITB Berlin.
Okay, so if you don't have any more questions, again, I'd like to thank you all for joining us today. We will be posting the webinar on our AIANTA website, and we'll send a link to your email addresses. Please follow us at aianta.org/webinar for future webinars hosted by AIANTA. And if you are not a member of AIANTA and would like to be, please contact Gail Shehak, our Tribal Relations and Outreach Manager, and you can do so by visiting our website at aianta.org. And if you would like to contact Maureen, her information is on the slide. Just please email her. You can also contact us. Again, all of our information is on the website. We appreciate you being here today and have a great day. Thank you.